All right. Hi, and welcome to Push Reset Parent Support Group, where this is a space for parents to come and start to learn or continue to learn ways to handle dealing with their anxiety or their worry or whatever the case may be in dealing with the crisis that we have been under, the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. We are starting to see states reopening, communities reopening, businesses reopening, but there still lies a level of uncertainty as to what the future holds. And so the purpose of this parent support group is just to talk about ways that we can manage and positively deal with everything that's been going on. And not only in dealing with this pandemic, but life thus far, because we'll have other moments where our anxiety will be heightened, our our worriness will be challenged. And so it's always great to have positive tools in our box in order to handle life situations. And so today we're going to start out with our meditation. I've had a little bit of my anxiety get heightened trying to log in this afternoon. And so I definitely need to practice this. So as last week's session, we talked about deep breathing, and I want to continue doing the deep breathing as well as talk about grounding, which is a great relaxation tool that you can incorporate in your life. So, with deep breathing, always remember to breathe in through your nose, take a deep breath, hold it for a second, and then breathe out through your mouth like you're blowing down the house. Just breathe it all out. So, if you sit straight in your chair and you breathe in through your nose, I have a lot to get out, so I'm gonna have to keep doing this until I bring my level all the way down. Do it as much as you would like. Last week, I think I did it twice. I think I feel like I need to do about 5 times. So let me go again. Breathe in through your nose. I feel myself coming all the way down, so I'm good now. All right. Another relaxation tool that I like to utilize is grounding. And the purpose of grounding is to bring you back centered, is to bring you back to what's going on presently. I love to use grounding when I'm outdoors. I love to just explore and see what's really happening outdoors. And so I'll focus on what I see. I'll focus on what I hear. I'll focus on some of the things that I could possibly smell. Or if I'm out there barbecuing or something to that degree, I may focus on my taste at that moment. And so typically it'll follow the setup with how to incorporate that. It'll be 5 things that you see, 4 things that you hear, 3 things that you feel, 2 things that you smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. And so if you start to actually just relax your mind and your body and focusing on that, you can actually get yourself back centered. And it's very important and very key, a great key to just relaxing to the fullest. And so as we continue with this, I would like to offer up a scripture. And let me find that real quick. The scripture that I want to read today. Because I have a lot of things screenshot. All right, I have 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. As we are going through this time and any other time in our life, it's so important that we center ourselves spiritually. I know a lot of times people say, well, just pray about it and forget about it, or just pray. That's all you need to do. Just pray and it'll be done. But you can't just pray. You have to put forth some actions, some actual actions behind that. And if you put all your cares on him, the Lord will work it out, but you still have to do your part. So before we really get into our session for today, we're going to say a prayer and then we'll continue with the self-care part. All right, so bow your head and pray to the Lord. Lord, thank you for this wonderful, beautiful day that you have bestowed upon us, Lord. You have given us another day to do better than we did the days before. Lord, I just pray that you guide us during this time and each and every time of our life, Lord. The good, the bad, the ugly, Lord, you are there working it all out for us. Lord, I just praise you and I thank you for everything you do in our lives. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right. So self-care. Last week we talked briefly about self-care and the importance of it. We talked about how we can engage in retail therapy, which was something that I definitely did this week that I probably should not have to the degree I did. But I was very relaxed in doing that. And one of the things I always say when I do retail shopping or therapy is that I'm satisfied with my purchases. That kind of reaffirms that, yeah, you probably should not have done it, but I feel rather good about what I purchased because it was things that I definitely needed. And so I challenge you to think back during this week. What are some things that you did that made you happy? Did you go outside and enjoy the sun? I mean, it's very important that we engage in getting our vitamin D. We don't always take in the vitamin D during our foods or in our food intake, but to go out and get the sunshine, just to go out for about 30 minutes and just sit is very, very vital in helping with boosting um, our emotions into the positive ways that we need to. Another thing is I don't do yard work, but I've seen a lot of people getting out in the yard and cutting their bushes back and cutting the grass and things of that nature. And I see that it brings a great joy to them because it's like, oh, I accomplished this. This was a lot to do and I accomplished it. I did it. And now I can sit back and relax. And hopefully no rain will come in and grow your grass back too quick. But that's another great tool that you can utilize if you like to be out there in the yard. And I know a lot of people are starting to garden a lot now, because it's important that we begin to incorporate fresh foods, that we begin to just establish a green thumb. It is still my intent to get out there and plant something. I love green tomatoes and I really love just growing it myself. I did that a couple of summers ago and it was exciting to just watch that particular fruit, because a tomato is a fruit, grow into this beautiful piece that I could actually go in, cut up, slice, and fry. It was fun. And so I enjoyed that greatly. So it's very important. I'm here in the Jackson, Mississippi area, and one of my favorite places to go and shop is through Footprint Farms. They have local produce that when I tell you, it is such a beautiful sight to see greens, collards, and turnips and kale. Oh my goodness. The color, the texture, the fact that it has been locally grown and it doesn't have all these pesticides and all of these unhealthy things with it. It's a beautiful sight. So I encourage you, no matter where you are, discover um, produce that has been locally grown that you can go and get directly. Yeah, I like going to the grocery store, but during this time, I'm really starting not to like the grocery stores too much. And so finding other places to do shopping where I am incorporating the locally grown foods, and as they say, from the farm to the table, it's been fun. Incorporating bringing your children in the kitchen. They need to learn how to cook. They really do. And hopefully you know how to throw down a little bit, but if not, get a recipe book. Go online and discover, okay, well, maybe I want to replicate something that I've purchased and eaten at Red Lobster. You can go and find some recipes where you can actually do that at home and bring your children in the kitchen. I have my sous chef. I tell her, come on in, you chop this and you peel this, and she is engaging and helping and having fun. And so these are things that you can incorporate for self-care. It's not hard. It's really, really simple, and exciting and fun. Another thing I want to point out with self-care, get out there and play with the kids outside, please. Get them off these video games, these tablets, these cell phones. Last week I touched on that it's important for us as adults to manage our screen time as well. There's always a great deal of talk about children's screen time, which we really need to monitor and make sure that they're not on there for too long. But adults need to manage theirs as well. Don't be on there too long. I know a lot of you have been working from home. It's 8-hour days, and a lot of times it's probably more than that, and you're in front of the computer. Take some time out and go outside and play with your children and do something different. At the end of this session, I'm going to talk about some things that you can do with your children outside. But next up, I have Miss Talya Straughter. She is a local professional, mental health professional here, and she's going to talk a little bit about herself as well as how to deal with anxiety during this time. So, Talya, take it away. Uh-oh, let me unmute you. Hold on. All right, there you go.
All right, thanks. It was off, and then I put it on because my little one is in the background, and so I said, "Let me put it back on." But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being a part of this parent support group that you're having. I actually did a workshop. I've done some workshops with parenting before, so I'm really excited that you are taking the opportunity to do this. I am a licensed professional counselor in the Jackson area, and I've been in mental health almost 20 years now. So I have some expertise in working with children and adults. I started out on the children end of the spectrum, but now I'm working with adults mostly. But and I know your topic is about parenting. What can I say about parenting? Oh my gosh. So nobody has this magic book that parents can read when we become parents or learn that we're going to be parents. It's trial and error, to be honest. You pull some from other people, and you pull some from maybe somebody you saw that was a great parent, or you pull from your own experiences. And those, just being a parent itself can cause some type of anxiety. I was thinking about what I was going to talk about this morning, and I thought about like the first time I got pregnant, just the anxiety that came along with, oh my God, somebody is going to be growing inside of me. How am I going to take care of this person? How am I going to bring forth? So all these things can bring some type of anxiety to you. Okay. And once you get the child here, now what do I do as a parent? So let me just talk about what anxiety looks like. So it's a common mental health illness that happens, and so that sometimes people can suffer from. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Many people misunderstand this diagnosis and believe that they can overcome it by just willpower. It's the diagnosis that is defined by just having common extreme sense of fear or worry, and that can be manifested through physical sensations. It can be paralyzing so much, like with fear, or you can have like a sustained pattern of worriness all of the time that may or may not be a danger. So when we're thinking about parenting and how your anxiety can manifest itself, is, let's say you're a new parent and you're having anxiety about going back to work as a new parent pre-COVID-19. Let me say that. Let's just say just when we were before the pandemic that we're in, and now you're having anxiety about leaving your child at the pre-K or at the daycare childcare center, and you're calling every 15-20 minutes. That can be some type of anxiety that has manifested with being a new parent. or you have a teenager that you're worried about and you're concerned about them being out on their own. Who are they hanging out with? What are they doing? You, as a parent, you can also worry about what type of teacher do I have? My child has. Who are the children in the classroom? Will my child make it academically? What do I need to do? So all of these things can play a part. Play a part in you just having some type of anxiety as a parent. Now, don't get me wrong, if you have these worries or fears, that does not mean you have anxiety. You can be diagnosed with anxiety, and like I said, that's something that is extreme, and it happens over a prolonged period of time. But we all have worries, we all have fears. Just in this pandemic alone, we're worried about what next, because we don't know, about, we don't, the virus is just kind of one of those things that we don't have a lot of information on. We can't control it. So of course your anxiety is going to be high with us having a stay at home. And now some moms and dads are working from home and teaching their children as well. So those things can bring upon some anxiety as well. And I know we talked to the states are talking about going back and opening up the state. So that brings on another set of fear and worry as well. So as a parent, it's important for us to kind of work through our anxieties and work through our fears. And sometimes, depending on what stage the child is in development, being honest and having a conversation with them as well can help with you handling your anxiety, because I feel like sometimes as a parent, we feel like we have to do it all by ourselves and that our children are not resilient enough to handle it. And I'm not saying have adult conversations with a child, depending on where they are age or developmental wise, but you use it at your discretion to how you would talk to your children about your fears and things that you're experiencing. And if you have a diagnosis of anxiety, be honest with your children. And like I said, have those discussions with them as well.
Right.
So some of the things that you can do to help you control your anxiety: going to therapy if you feel as if you're not able to do those things that you talked about earlier, Shayna, being grounded, getting in the present moment, practicing relaxation skills, deep breathing. If you feel as if those things are not helping, then you may need to have a therapist or see a psychiatrist that may prescribe some type of medication for you.
Okay. All right. The video froze. Talya, can you still hear me? Okay.
Okay, I think it froze up. I was trying to see.
All right.
Okay, there we go. It had frozen up for a second, and I was trying to click off and click on to make sure. Okay, sorry about that.
That's fine. It happened on my end too. I think everybody is getting on Zoom.
Yes. And everybody's on the internet as well. Yes, but I was wrapping it up by saying that, being honest with your children about what you have going on. Oh, self-care, what you talked about earlier, having those relaxation techniques, getting outside, exercising. You just, I so miss my gym. I told my sister that, look, Monday morning we getting up and going walking, because I miss that release. And, like you said earlier, being out in nature and just really focusing on what's in the present can help brings down your anxiety sometimes. And then if you feel as if that's not helping, then maybe you need to go in and seek professional help.
Yes. Yes. Because of course we know in our culture, we are like mental health. It's nothing wrong with me. I don't need
Mhm.
that. And it's not saying that something is wrong, but it's just tweaking what is going on that does not feel normal
Right.
to
The way
you.
I like to, I'm sorry,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
the way I like to bring it to my clients is everybody experiences mental health. Mental health, you because we all have brains. Everybody has a brain, so we all have a facet of mental health. However, just like in our physical bodies, if something is not working properly, we will go to the foot doctor, we will go to the
Mm-hmm.
gastro doctor, we will go to our OBGYN. So if there's something going on mentally, then seek some help to help get you over or get you through what that you feel like you're going through.
Yes, exactly. Because I always tell people too, um, if your brain is not intact, if it's not doing what it needs to do, the rest of your body will not
Rest of your
operate the way
body
that it
won't either.
needs to.
Yes,
We just cannot dismiss that. I
that's
like
good.
from my head to my toes, I need everything working the way
Working.
it's
Yes,
supposed to.
exactly.
Because if I'm not in my right mind, then, and even the Bible speaks about that,
Yes.
about your body parts. You know, your eyes can't do what your hands do, so to
Mhm.
speak. So, it's very, very important that we look at mental health
Mhm.
as what it says, health. We want
Health,
to be
yes.
healthy. We
Right.
want our minds to be healthy, and we need to do things to support that, including if we need a brief time in therapy. It's
Right.
not saying that you have to be in there for years and years
That's
on
good.
end, and it doesn't say that you have to go to the crazy house and be put in a straitjacket. That's not what it
Right.
is. And I know that media, movies, they've depicted it as such, but that's not what it is at all. I mean, and you don't even have to be
And
put
if
on
you do need
medication.
inpatient care, it's okay to say it's not a sign of weakness.
Yes, it's
It's
not.
I have if you can point out I need some help and ask for the help and go and get it, that's actually coming from a place of strength,
Mm-hmm.
and not weakness, and not saying anything, anything negative towards you. But just like we talked about earlier, if you're physically having a physical ailment, then you go get that handle. And as a parent, you pour so much out. So just think about it. If you're not taking care of your mental health, at some point you will become empty if you don't pour back into yourself.
Mm-hmm. Very much so, very much so. So I appreciate you in instilling and giving this positive feedback. And the breakdown of what anxiety is. It's
Hmm.
not a bad thing. It's part of us.
Yes.
Everybody has to go through it, whether it be on a scale of 1 to 10, one being a little or 10 being a
Yeah.
lot. We can get it
Anxious.
managed.
Hmm.
We definitely
Hmm.
can get it managed. So the next brief piece that we have before we wrap up is our sharing time. And I did get a question from a parent regarding the thought of I will probably have to be at home, which this parent is able to be at home during the summertime, which is a blessing.
Right.
But she's curious as to what are some things that she can do with her children because she won't be able to take them to certain places. She says she's going to restrict
Right.
her traveling right now because
Yeah.
normally they go out of town and explore, but she's not going to do that this summer. So she's wondering what are some things that she can do at home with her child.
Okay.
Um, One thing that was brought to my attention from my nephew's teacher, shout out to Miss Lucas at Smilo Prep. She actually took my nephew to the zoo, and I was like, wait a minute, and I'm like, we're not going to the zoo, but they did it virtually,
Virtually.
which
Yes.
my nephew was very engaged in.
Yes.
He loves animals. He can tell you about any and every animal. And so it was a really good icebreaker for them starting their school session.
Hmm.
And he really, really enjoyed it. And so I began to look up more information about some virtual things that you can do.
Right. And I think the Smithsonian Museum, a lot of the museums are having virtual tours, as well as, like you said, The zoos were having
Mhm.
virtual tours as well.
Mhm.
And if some of the I think PBS kids had some awesome things that they were doing during this time. For example, different celebrities, like on Mondays, I think former First Lady Michelle Obama reads a book every Monday, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken.
Mhm.
One of the things my daughter and I have done, because she likes animals as well, so finding things on Netflix like Absurd Planet, where they talk about these different animals that a
Mhm.
lot of them I've never seen before, or
Mhm.
insects and those type of things. Something else they can that parents can do is to get out and explore in the backyard. Mine has found a fascination within the last 2 weeks with digging. I don't know why she feels like she can dig a swimming pool in the backyard, but hey, I'm gonna let you dig until you can't dig, not get too out of hand with this hole that you're digging.
Mhm.
But just being able to explore and see. You talked about a garden. A friend of mine is going to help me start a garden, because I've always wanted one, but just never took the time. I did a flower bed for years, and I wanted a garden, so now I'm going to take the opportunity to plant a garden, since I have some time to do it. And it could be something that we can do together as a family, where we take care of the garden, um, pull things from the garden that we are planting, and go in the kitchen, like you said, because yes, they do need to learn how to cook. And so those are non-traditional ways that you can teach math, you can teach
Mhm.
science, because chemistry is a part of cooking,
Mhm.
measurement. So those are some of the things that you can do with your child. Reading is always a good one to fall back on. She and I will read a book together. She'll do a chapter and I'll do a chapter, and having a discussion, not just reading through the
Yeah,
chapters and just trying to get finished with the book, but actually having a discussion to see if they are comprehending,
exactly.
or well, what do you think is going to happen? Well, why do you think this happened? So asking questions to help them develop those analytical and critical skills that they would
Mhm.
need to help them. One of the things, and I'm probably not going to say this loud enough so she can hear, I am so surprised with TikTok, which is teaching them, although it's
Yeah.
dancing and making these
Mhm.
small clips, but she's developing skills to learn how to splice videos and put them
Mhm.
together.
Mhm.
So long as you're monitoring those things with their iPads or whatever electronic device they have, as long as you're monitoring it, I think it's a good way to teach them skills or introduce skills that they probably would not have
Yes.
um, honed in on.
Yes. And that is very, very important. I looked at TikTok. I like to laugh at the things that's posted.
Yeah,
I encouraged my niece to start. And then I was thinking she's gonna go too far with this. I was just like, I don't know.
but we
But
TikTok every
I
day.
do agree with you. It is teaching them a skill that they're probably not gonna get in school unless
Yeah,
they, especially in grade school, taking a specific class. They don't
specific,
offer
right,
those types of classes. They may
right.
have computer science, but they're not going to teach you really in depth about certain skills.
Hmm.
And so that's a great thing to do at home. Because I believe during this time strongly that parents is putting them back into a position where they should never have left,
Being a parent, yeah,
to be teachers first to their
yes,
children.
yeah,
Of course, our
and
lifestyles, and the changes in technology and industries and everything has forced us to be out of the home
yeah,
longer times out of the day. But
right.
this right here has put us back into
Into
the
our
foundation.
rightful spot, right? And
Yes.
that's and actually that is a positive, because I know
Mhm.
we talked about how everything is looking from a negative perspective of the pandemic, but if you flip the coin and turn it over, that is a positive.
Mhm.
And I know uh, being able to have that bonding and not feeling so rushed through the day, once I pick her up and getting home, trying to get dinner, homework,
Mhm.
and starting to cycle over. So this pandemic has shown us that we just need to stop and breathe. and
Yes.
enjoy the moments and create those long lasting memories with our children.
Yes, and I would add that we are able to reset
Yes,
and create a better norm.
yes, that's it.
Because what was working before, I mean, a lot of people were
Wasn't
stressed
working.
out.
Yeah, it wasn't working.
It was not
Mm,
working.
yeah.
And so hopefully everyone is encouraged to create a better schedule,
Hmm.
um, a better sense of what priority you should put on certain things,
Hmm.
because your children do come first. You
Right.
can't escape that. You really can't.
Exactly.
And so I just hope that parents are really taking heed to this opportunity that they've been blessed with. Because,
Hmm.
like you stated, the negative, we get it all day on the news. I mean,
Yes.
all these news breaks, breaking news, this, that, and the other, and conferences. And yeah, you need to be informed of what's going on, but we have to step away and think of the positive in all of this.
Right. I
One
agree.
of the other things that I encourage from personal experience with engaging with my niece and nephew during this time and what we're going to do for the summer, I have bubble parties. I love
Mm,
bubbles. I have a
okay.
bubble party in the backyard. I bought a
Yeah.
bubble machine. We have every type of thing that blows bubbles, and we just play and just have fun. And we see how far a bubble will flow and float in the air.
Yeah.
It's really, really fun. They've been asking me, so when are we gonna do the bubble party? I'm like, I'm prepping for it. Just wait, just wait. I'm trying to get some stuff. So that's one of the fun things. And going back into my childhood and remembering water fights, like now I
Yes.
done up the ante. I got me a super soaker. We're
Yeah.
we're gonna have fun. We started out doing it this week, and I thought that they were gonna be kind of nervous about getting wet. They were just like, "Wet me up some more."
Let's
I'm
do
like,
it.
"Okay,
Let's do
cool.
it.
This is great. I got some water balloons now. I'm gonna really blast y'all
Right.
up." But that is fun and engaging. You're outside, you're getting your fresh air and your sun, and everybody's having a good time. The next thing you know, everybody's happy. It's like,
Yes.
okay, now I can really get you to do some things I want you to do.
Exactly.
And so that is very, very important to incorporate. Um, I'm just gonna stay positive through it all. If
Yeah.
things shift again for us, I want us all to be prepared and not
Right.
be so taken that this has knocked us off our rocker. Because we don't have to be knocked off.
Exactly.
We could just be shaken a little bit, but get back to what we know
Get your
is
grounding
best.
back.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And so that is pretty much it for our parent support group.
But thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and I appreciate you for coming in. I met Talia probably about a year or so
Yeah,
ago.
it was about a year ago.
Yeah, and I was just
Mhm.
like, okay, this is cool. I think we on the
Mhm.
same wavelength with things, and so I definitely want to stay in her good graces,
And the same
um,
here.
with everything that she's doing, and we're going to be collaborating in
Yes.
the future on some other things. And so that is it. Do you have any final words?
Just thank you for having me. And I hope your parents are able to get something out of that. And if they need to reach out, they can feel free to reach out.
Yes, I am going to repost this on our Facebook page, business
Yeah.
page at Be Undefeated TS, and I will be attaching Miss Talia on there as well. So if you
Okay, good.
need some services, please don't hesitate to get in contact with her. And any other additional information that I've shared today, such as links to resources for those virtual tours of museums and
Hmm.
zoos and so forth.
Yes,
That'll be great for you all to just look into and have fun doing. All right.
exactly.
So you all please go and enjoy your Saturday, and I'll see you next Saturday, same time, same place. All right. Be blessed.